Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Routine with Spence. I am your host, Emma Spence, and I have a very special guest on here tonight with me. His name is Dennis Vachon. He was one of my coaches in Canada for a very long time. He is also from Canada. Very successful coach, amazing human, successful athlete. He also represented Canada as a gymnast himself for many years. Just incredible person overall. Very lucky to have him on the show tonight. And yeah, this is going to be a fun one. So here, I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit. Dennis, maybe you can talk about where you're from, your gymnastics background, and kind of how that led you to coaching.
Sure. No problem. Hi, Emma. I love your setup. It's way better than mine. But I did bring wine, so
I love that.
I'm good to go. Yeah, it matches your walls. Like Emma said, my name's Dennis. I actually grew up in a small town in Northern Ontario, about 5 hours north of Toronto. That's where I started gymnastics, and I quickly fell in love with it. I was crazy. I always wanted to be upside down. I was, jumping on the furniture, typical gymnastic stuff. So my parents put me in gym to copy my sisters, and I was the one who just kind of fell in love and ran with it. And by age like 10 or 11, I was in the gym 12 to 16 hours a week. And then from there, I went to 20, 25, and basically until the end of 2021. 25 hours a week in the gym was the least amount of time I spent at the gym. Sometimes it was as much as 50 hours because I also tried to train and coach. So I was really lucky. My athletic career took me to a lot of different heights. I was fortunate enough to compete at 6 world championships and earn a medal at every single one. And then as a coach, I got to coach 4 world championship medalists in the sport of power tumbling and double wing trampoline, which are like the ugly stepsisters of gymnastics. I would say they're underneath the trampoline umbrella, but they're the lesser known sports because they're not actually in the Olympic Games. But I think they should be personally. um, and I always had a love for artistic gymnastics, so when I got an opportunity to start working in that field, I took it, which is where I met Emma from pretty much my first year. And from there we just kind of ran with that, and I think we had a lot of firsts together. We kind of had to learn what international gymnastics looked like together, which for us culminated in you going to Youth Olympics and becoming the first ever Canadian to medal in gymnastics at Youth Olympics, um, to being the Olympic alternate 2 years later. And I was fortunate enough to go coach another athlete on that Olympic team. And then when you went off to university and the other athlete well, the other three also went off to university, I said, well, that's it. I'm done. No more of this coaching stuff. I've had enough. And now I manage a gym in Burlington, Ontario.
Amazing. Another fact that I forgot to mention is that Dennis actually coached both of my sisters too.
Oh,
So you literally were with our family like every day, almost all day, which is really
I,
funny.
I know you can. I don't know how you guys convinced me to do that. Yeah, at one point I'd have you from 12 until about 4:30. Then I
Hmm.
get Libby for 2 hours to 2.5, and then I get Abby for
Yep.
2.5. So I had like 8.5, 9 hours of Spence 4 days a
Yep.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty much part of the family at that point.
No, for real. Because then you would like, I don't know. I mean, you knew our parents really well. You were
Hmm.
like, aren't you like Abby's godfather or something like
Yeah,
that too?
yeah, yeah. I am.
Yeah. So you really are just part of the family at this point.
Hmm. It's true. Yeah, I've
Well,
met like all of your grandparents, like
yep.
everything.
Yeah. Well, how did you like coaching the three of us? Or like what were the differences between us? I guess the sports were different too, so that probably changes the vibes a little bit too.
Yeah, I don't know if you were the easiest. You were probably the one I felt most pressure with, but
Yeah.
I think it's because the
Yeah.
stakes were a little bit higher.
Mhm.
But I think also you're like the one that I connected with the most and got closer to. Like, I just remember we just laughed so much. Like, we were so stupid together. Like,
Mhm. Yep.
um, And then, so I remember laughing a ton with you, and just we were so ridiculous, so ridiculous. Libby, Libby was different. She was so young,
That's true.
right? So she didn't talk to me.
That's true. She was scared of you for a bit.
Yeah, the first time like I swear, the first time Libby actually talked to me was when I went to watch one of your meets 2 years ago, and she and your dad went, and it was
Yeah.
John and I that went, right? And that was the first time that I actually had like a conversation with her, because before that, I would have to ask other people in the group what's Libby thinking, because if I would ask her a question, she would give me a smirk and not talk.
That's so crazy because she talks to everybody, like, all the
But
time. But
me.
there was something about you. She even made a TikTok about it once a couple years ago.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, I don't even remember what it was. She's gonna get mad at me for, like, telling you
It's
this,
fine.
but
That's fine.
it was like, I don't know, she did something, it's like me talking to everyone else and then me talking to my coach, Dennis, and she's just, like, silent. It's so
Every
funny.
time.
I don't know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
So I don't really know how coaching her. I mean, it seemed to work
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what was going on with her, but we
Yeah.
worked out pretty well. And then Abby was also somewhere in the middle, because she would talk, like she would speak to me, or she would always answer. She was so respectful, so polite. Um, but it just she was also, I think she was the strangest one out of all of you, and I freaking loved it. I
Yes.
feel like her and I were just always on the same wavelength, so I didn't really need to talk to her very much, because I could
Mhm.
just look at her and I just knew. I just knew that she was up to something, or uh, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Abby.
kid.
Love Abby. Love both of
That
them.
that adult now, actually, that adult.
Have you seen her lately or talked to her lately?
I
Like, in person?
I pocket dialed her
Oh.
recently. So I work with an Abby, and something had
Okay.
happened at the gym, and it was like an emergency, and so I just hit Abby and called, and she answered, and I was
Oh,
saying like, we need this, and she was like, what? And I was like, in my head I got frustrated. I'm like, why does she not know what I'm talking about? Like, she knows. And then I looked at my phone and I was like, oh crap. And so
yeah.
then I just hung up on her,
Yeah. Oh, did you ever
because it was an
explain why?
emergency.
Oh, okay. Got
Yeah, and then I messaged her back after being
yeah,
like, by the way.
that's funny.
But that's the last time, and yeah, I haven't seen her much since she decided to retire and focus
Hmm.
on being a university student.
Maybe I'll bring her with me when I go see you next week when I go
Oh
home.
my god.
I
Do
don't know
love
what
that
she'll be doing.
child.
Yeah. Yeah, she's doing good.
She's a keeper. You guys
Yes.
are all keepers, though. You guys are all good.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna ask you, what are your, like, favorite memories or, like, favorite competition? Actually, no, first let's go through okay, a little bit of background. So, Dennis coached me from 2016 to probably well, I mean, technically until, like, 2022, 2023, I don't know. I left elite gymnastics, then I came back, then I didn't have a coach, and then Dennis said he would be my coach even though he wasn't a coach either because he also left gymnastics. And we both just showed up at world championships, then we made history, and then kept going, and then you worked at the Olympics, so all over the place. Yeah,
Yeah.
all over the place, but we've been to so many different countries together. I was just thinking about this on the drive here. There's been, Japan,
Mhm.
Argentina twice, Colombia, France 3 times, maybe 2, 3 times,
Yeah.
Hungary, Belgium,
Mhm.
Australia. I don't am I missing any?
I
Um,
think that's the ones that
those
you
are, like, the main ones.
competed in.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, so we've been all over the world together, and it's crazy because even looking back, I talked about this on one of my shows maybe last week. Like, even when I went to Japan, that was my first ever international competition. I was, like, 14 years old, and you were the one taking care of me because my parents didn't go. So,
I
crazy.
know. I know. We've had a good journey. I mean, I remember my first meet with you, that where we weren't just you and I. Like, I just remember being the assistant at like an Elite Canada in
Mhm.
2015, or yeah, that was no, that
15,
was
16.
2016. Yeah.
2016 nationals when it was, like, combined with,
Yeah, so I just helped at 2016 Elite. Like, that's where I was just like helping. And I
mhm.
just remember you were having such a bad meet, because your first day didn't go well, and then somebody said something super rude to you. And my way of like fixing it was to look at you and be like, you know what, you fell 4 times yesterday, so how about today we only fall three?
Yep.
And I remember you. falling 3 times and then hitting the last event and afterwards being like, "I only fell 3," and we were like, "Yes." And I feel like us being super excited about that pretty much sums up our coach-athlete relationship.
Yeah. No, that's true. The small wins.
Yeah, but I think Australia was the most fun. 'Cause I think we did a good job of not just being in the gym, like, we saw
That's true.
Melbourne, like, we saw a lot of the city, and
Yep.
then we purposely did that, like, hour-long Uber to go to that I
The, like,
it wasn't
petting
kind of a
animal
zoo, like
sanctuary,
yeah, the sanctuary just so that we could see traditional Australian animals and,
like the
uh
kangaroos and the koalas.
yeah, and we brought another person with us because of Say Sport, we needed a 3rd person.
Yes, that was Tamara. She's my friend from
Tamara,
Singapore.
right, right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Like, we just had fun, and then, like,
Mhm.
when that one day we just decided to tan outside the hotel because there was
Yes.
nothing else to do.
Yeah, because it was hot. Because it was in February, and in
Yeah,
Canada,
so
there
it's
was
their
snow on the
summer.
ground, and it was so hot there. So, yeah,
Oh,
we're
and, like,
just
we did go to the beach one day so that we could go in the ocean,
that's true. Yeah,
remember? I
yeah,
just feel like that trip was the best.
yeah, the weather and the people, like, it was just yeah, good
Yeah, it
vibes.
was so chill. It was so we just had so much fun. It was, like, the
Yeah.
best, mix. Youth Olympics was really cool
Mhm.
um, because of how big it was,
Yeah.
right? And so, like, seeing you on that scale was amazing.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it was also, like, so busy
It
and
was
really
chaotic.
stressful,
Yes.
right? Yeah, remember, like, people were so obsessed with you
'Cause you
to the
told me to dye my hair blonde.
I know, remember? I said that, like, yeah, if
Yeah.
you're blonde, like, people will go crazy. I didn't think I'd be that right about that.
Yeah.
Um, to the point where it was, like, scary. Like,
Yeah.
I'd have to, like, hold your arm to get you out of the
Yeah,
gymnastic or, like, the
the crowds and stuff.
yeah. So then that was a bit stressful.
Yeah.
And then it was so long.
Mhm.
Right? Like, we
You were
were
there
there
for, like,
for
3
so
weeks.
freaking long. It was, like,
Mhm.
never ending.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that's true. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
So
been
those 2 are my favorite.
yeah. Hmm. Um, so this world championship situation, that was really funny because basically I wasn't supposed to go, and then all of a sudden I was selected. I was an alternate and someone got sick and then I came in. Um, and then I didn't have a coach. So I literally like I just didn't have a coach registered with Canada at the time. So I texted Dennis. I was like, "Hey, like, are you busy this week?" like, in of the dates. And you're like, "What? Why?" I was like, "Well, do you wanna come to World Championships with me as my coach?" And, I'm really glad you did because I didn't really have anyone else, and I was really hoping you would say yes.
Yeah.
That
I
was
know, I can't believe you managed to pull me that. 'Cause remember how much like, okay, so I went through this weird for your audience, I went
Mhm,
through this weird stage where, like, I despised everything gymnastics, especially the people, right? Like, I just had no time
mhm.
for it.
Yep.
And that was, like, probably in that was in the worst of it when you
Mhm.
went. And I do remember when you asked me and I was like, "Oh god," like, in my head, I remember thinking if it wasn't Emma, I would have already said no. Like, I wouldn't have even have considered this.
Yeah.
Um, but then I also thought about how ridiculous we are together.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, no, this'll be funny. Like, this'll be
Yeah.
really good." And I did have that one, the Gymnastics Canada employee who called me and said, "You need to go. She needs a coach. I don't trust that they're gonna like that she's gonna have an equitable trip if someone's
Yeah.
not there to vouch for her."
Yep.
And now I look back and I think, thank God
Yeah.
I went and that
Mhm.
she had the guts to give me that phone call because it probably was crossing a boundary. Um, but then
Yeah.
do you remember how ridiculous we were though? Like,
Well, everyone was so serious, and I
yeah,
was just like,
nobody knew
"Come
how to
on,
handle us.
like, we already made it to world championships at that point. It's like, might as well enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
So
I know, but
we
you and
dug
I are
into it.
like we're bad at facial expressions. Like when we
Like,
see
hiding
what
facial
yeah,
expression.
when we find something's like a bit ridiculous, we show it. And I do remember constantly shooting you looks of like, oh,
Yeah.
like I don't know what's happening over there, but let's not walk that way. Like
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because everyone was so stressed, and, like, I don't know, I was just happy to be there because I was an alternate before at a world
Hmm.
championships, and I was like, "Okay, like, I'm actually here, might as well enjoy it," and, I mean, that's what helped me personally, and I think that's what helped the vibe of the team. I mean, it took some time for people to relax and the coaching staff to kind of calm down. But by the time we got to that finals day, I think that was probably the best day of everybody
Yeah,
working together and coming together.
I think that's one thing that still kind of boggles my mind. And it's the difference between like the trampoline world and the tumbling world. And I grew up in the trampoline world, and we would go to competitions and like world championships. And in training, the focus was always more on like do whatever you have to do to feel good on the equipment so that when it's time to compete, you're ready to kill it. It wasn't like
Mhm.
you still needed to prepare because like
Yeah.
everyone understood that the work had already been done at home. And now
Mhm.
it was about pacing yourself to really showcase it. And that was something that I really struggled with big events for WAG. Not when we were one on one. When you and I just went somewhere as an individual, like a World Cup or an individual meet, I think
Mhm.
that was never an issue because we were on the same page for that, you and I, and so we would pace you perfectly. But
Mhm.
whenever there was like a team coach or somewhere or a team event where people had like this, I feel like it's a pressure or maybe it's their stress that they wanted to
Mhm.
be able to show perfection at all times, which is so freaking exhausting.
Mhm.
And so that's what I remember from that meet, just being like, "Whoa, like why are you guys doing so much? Like you're ready already, you know?" And
Yeah.
it just don't you want to show up competition day like feeling awesome instead of feeling
Mhm.
tired?
Yes,
And
exactly.
so I think that's what we did there, you know, like people if the assignment was one routine, then we would just look at each other and be like, "We'll just do it cold turkey."
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna warm up then if that's what
Yeah,
you want me to
don't
do.
do 5 warm-up turns, like, let's not do that, like, let's
Yeah.
get in and out, like,
Yeah.
uh-uh,
And then
not
even
doing it.
were you the one that put together the Halloween party the night before?
Yeah, me and Martha
That
and
was
I, we planned it when I told her I was going, she called me, we were both super pumped, and then, like, both of us at the same time were like, "Halloween party." So I went to, like, the dollar store and spent, like, $50 on Halloween crap.
Yeah.
Right? Like, crap, all those
Yeah.
decorations. I brought costumes for all the adults because I knew that they wouldn't actually bring it themselves,
Yeah.
even though we sent a message being like, "Don't forget your Halloween costumes." I knew the athletes would do it, but I knew
Yes.
the coaches wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we had to have fun. Come on, it's Halloween.
Mhm. No, that was perfect, and I think from the athlete's standpoint, like, that definitely just helped us, like, calm down. I remember I was wearing my costume, and, like, a group of us where we get in the elevator, and then Donatella walks in. She's, like, the head of gymnastics, and she's just looking at us wearing our costumes, and she just looks at me, she's like, "Hi, Emma." I was like, "Hi." I was like, "Happy Halloween," and she just looks at me, and I was like
Again, poster children for ridiculousness.
Yes.
Everybody else was probably, like, in bed already or, like, doing I don't even know what people do, and then there's Team Canada having a
Right.
Halloween party.
Yeah.
And do you
Yeah, that
remember
was
any of the snacks? Like, I remember we made Band-Aid
I remember the
crackers,
yes, I remember
right?
that.
It was like crackers with a piece of cheese and then a piece of jam on top, like white
Yeah.
cheese, so it looked like it was a bloody Band-Aid.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
And I was
you were good at
drinking,
that. Yes,
obviously.
obviously.
I had
Yeah.
to survive those trips.
Yes. Yeah, that was a crazy time.
It was a crazy time, but we had fun.
Yeah. No, overall, like, looking back on it, it was definitely a good time, and all those trips, there was something interesting that happened every time
Yeah,
that made it fun too.
yeah. We always did a good job of not being fazed by people who were over intense, right?
Mhm.
Like, we
Yeah.
did always find a way to just laugh it off or back away,
Yes. Just,
steer
like, go
clear.
do something else, or just
Yeah.
watch, just people watch, like, "Okay, let's just sit
Well,
back and watch
yeah. Yeah,
people.
this is gonna be interesting.
What are they about to do?" Yeah.
Oh, we're so dumb.
That was fun. It was good.
Oh, I like your hair.
Thank you. We just had, a Thanksgiving dinner at Heather's house. Oh, Heather told me to say hi, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
hi. I
I was
can't wait to see her.
Yes, so you are coming to a couple gymnastics meets, right? Or, like, NCAA
Yeah,
gymnastics
so
you were
I'm gonna
saying?
go to you have one in February in Michigan,
Yes.
right? So I'm gonna go to that one because that's close. I'm gonna come to your senior meet in
Nice,
Nebraska, and
nice.
then you have another one in Michigan right after.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so hopefully those 3. I looked at that Ohio one,
Mhm.
but it's actually not as close as I thought it was. It's like 14 hours drive.
Really?
Mhm.
I don't think so.
Oh, I Okay, well,
I mean, it might, but I know my dad did it, and it was like 5.
okay, so maybe I don't even know what I'm doing. Never mind. Just pretend I'm not here. Next question.
I mean, I don't really know. That's what he said because I know he drove. So if it was that long, I don't think he would have driven, but
No, you're right. He wouldn't.
no.
Okay.
But I
Well,
don't know.
that's
I actually
embarrassing.
don't know where it is in Ohio either, so I don't know. I'll have
I
to
could
figure
have
it out
swore
later.
it. You know what? Maybe it was like 8. Maybe that's why.
Maybe it was
Maybe it
yeah,
was something I couldn't do in a day.
maybe.
Because I'm coming from Toronto too, so it would be like an extra hour and a half or an
That's
hour and a bit than your dad.
yeah, that's true. It might have been more than 5 too, I don't know. One of them was 5. Was Pennsylvania 5? You went to that one.
Yeah, that one was 5.
Okay, so then, yeah, Ohio's probably further.
Mhm.
I don't really know where the states are on the maps.
Whatever. I'm gonna see you
Yeah,
3 times.
amazing. And
That's what
next
it
week
is.
when I go home for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
American
I
Thanksgiving.
I know this is a busy time for us.
Yes. Because yeah, you were literally living in Paris for, like, a year and a half?
Yeah, for 15 months.
Nice. Alright, we are heading into our first break, and we'll be back. You are listening to Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence and Dennis Bachow.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today. The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? That feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios on O Street. Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
The Link Grill, Draft, and Crafts is your spot in Southeast Lincoln for great food and drink. They're serving new menu items and a killer craft cocktail menu with your favorite draft beers. You'll love their pizza and new entree options. It's a great place to watch any live events, and they have music bingo every month. They have an aggressive loyalty program that rewards fans with 7% back on all purchases. Home of the Nebraska Power Hour every night from 8 to 9 p.m. Order online at thelnkgrill.com or stop in at 84th and Highway 2 today.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket. You are listening to Beyond the Routine with Spence. I'm your host, Emma Spence, and my special guest tonight is my old coach, Dennis Vachon. So we were just talking about you coming to Nebraska again, coming to some NCAA gymnastics meets. What was your favorite thing about Nebraska when you came here? That was probably 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Like, first thoughts of Nebraska. What did you like? What did you not like? I don't know. What was your experience like here?
Well, I don't think there was anything I didn't like.
That's good.
I think I liked everything.
Nice.
I definitely underestimated the size of the city, or like how easy it would be to get around.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't recognize, or I didn't understand that. But I liked the restaurants in the and like that main strip. And I
Yes,
think
in
I
the
came in
Haymarket.
January. Yeah, the Haymarket. I came in January and I regretted it. Like I'm happy that this year I'm going back in March when it's a bit nicer weather.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was not prepared to. I wasn't ready to actually enjoy the downtown areas that much, so I didn't dress well for it. But I do remember liking the architecture. Like I liked seeing how old it was. Like the buildings were all interesting. The restaurants were good, and it was very clean. I actually
Yeah.
have a very vivid memory about how clean it was. And like all of my favorite towns, it was super busy all day and early evening, and then it was quiet when it was time to go to sleep. And so I really appreciated that.
Did you stay in the Haymarket area? I don't remember.
Yeah,
Like your hotel too?
I did. Yeah, yeah, I
Oh,
stayed in the
yeah, that would
Haymarket.
have been nice.
Hmm. Yeah, it was great. It was good. And then you were, I think you were the first NCAA meet I'd gone to. I hadn't seen it before, and
Oh.
I loved it. I just remember it was just so much fun, especially
Hmm.
compared to elite gymnastics.
Yes,
And seeing
definitely.
you, like that was like so your element, right? And so that was
Mhm.
really fun too, because I was like, oh, like finally she's around a group of people that are just as strange and stress free as she
Mhm.
is. Like you
Mhm.
looked like you could really let loose. And so for me it was like a very like proud, happy, exciting moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my freshman year actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember.
I think yeah, because the second year is when I couldn't get to Nebraska. That's when
Oh,
John and I went to
you
see
went to
you
Penn
in
State.
Pennsylvania.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That was 3 years ago now, pretty much. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. And then last year I couldn't go because I was in Paris the whole time.
Mhm.
Too bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Paris is probably
Rough
nicer than
life. Rough life.
Nebraska. Yeah. What was I don't know, I guess, like, just for other people listening as well, like, the biggest differences that you could tell or see between NCAA gymnastics and elite gymnastics from, I guess, being in it, but also, like, a spectator? Like, what are the differences that are there?
Oh, well,
There's a lot.
NCAA encourages crowd participation,
Mhm.
which is great, right? The meet runs faster, which also helps with like staying engaged
That's true.
as a spectator, which was really good. And then the team aspect, like I find a lot of times in elite gymnastics, once as people hit their routines, pressure builds and people start to look more nervous. And in NCAA, it was like as people hit the routines, people got more excited. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
like other athletes, you know, like
That is
the person who
true.
was going towards the end of the lineup didn't look more shaken that her teammates had done well. They
That's
looked more
true.
pumped.
I never even thought of it that way, but that is so true. In elite gymnastics, it's like not that you don't want the people in front of you to do well, but it like adds more stress to yourself
Yeah.
when it's like, "Oh my gosh, all these people are doing so good. I have to make sure I'm doing good." But when you're on a team and you're towards the end, it's like, "Okay, my team has done really well. I don't have to be as stressed because they did their part and I'm just
Hmm.
doing the best that I can."
Yeah, and
Wow.
it like it also helped the crowd build as well,
Mhm.
which was really interesting. That was I think those are the biggest things that I noticed, which overall for me was also it was nice. It was one of the first meets. I truly think it's one of the first meets I've gone to that I wasn't coaching. So that was also weird.
That's true.
I hadn't watched a competition in a very, very long time. Um,
Mhm.
so I really noticed what it was like to be in a crowd
Mhm, and that's
and not.
definitely a big crowd compared to, like, an Elite Canada or
Mhm.
a Canadian Championships.
Oh my God. Okay, listen, it's like negative bodies at a lot of those events. Like,
And people are just, like, stressed, like, it's usually the parents, and the parents are nearly as stressed as the athletes on the floor.
yeah, it's like people are afraid to get engaged almost. Like it's almost, yeah, like everybody is living through someone in that moment. And
Mhm,
so they never release their tension.
mhm,
And
that's a good
so
way
you
to
never
put it.
get like a roar of applause or right? Like it's always something's always being held back. It's like there's a wall up.
Mhm, yep, that's a good way to put it, and I feel like you don't have as many fans that show up at those elite meets, like, I don't know, I mean, here you have little kids and, like, just
Hmm.
random people, like, everyone just comes to watch college sports in the US, and
Yeah.
when you go to, like, an elite gymnastics meet, it's like, you're there I mean, sometimes you go watch because it's, like, it's cool and you wanna watch, like, the certain people
Hmm.
that they're paying, but it's more like
Well,
parents, and it's
you
more like
guys have like a
influence.
following in college sport, right? Like there's season ticket holders who
Mhm,
watch you from your first event of the year to the end. I mean, you're gonna have people who watched you for 4 years straight. So like, you know, like by the time you're in your third, fourth year, they're
mhm,
invested in you. They know some of your trademark skills. They also know when you've done something good or bad because they've had that experience. And I think that following and that community also alters the entire feel inside the meet. Like, you know, I was there supporting you. Um,
mhm,
but every time you went, I felt like I was not like I've always been the loudest voice in the room for you, I think, like at any
mhm,
other meet we've gone to,
yes,
right? And
yes,
yet
for sure.
here I was I couldn't even compete, right?
Wow,
And in my head, I'm like, wow, like these people do not know this girl on the same level I do, and yet like they are bringing the noise. And so
mhm,
that to me was really magical. I can't
that's
even imagine how that feels as an NCAA athlete to know that there's like this entire city or region that like is willing you to do
mhm,
your best and
yeah,
ready to cheer for you when it happens, but also ready to like pump you the heck up if it doesn't.
mhm. Yeah, and it's interesting because Nebraska doesn't have, like, a professional sports team at all here. So, all the sports fans in Nebraska really cheer and, like, root for the university in all those sports. So, there's a lot of people that watch it here.
Yeah, I would love to see an NCAA football game. Like, I haven't done that yet, but I feel like also seeing like a football or a basketball game would also be a
Yeah.
super interesting experience. And
Yes.
I know
Crazy.
nothing about those sports. Like, it's embarrassing how little I know about those sports. But I do think that the environment, just being in the environment, would be pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. I brought my dad and Libby probably a month or 2 ago now, and they were just blown away. It's literally like you're in a movie because there's, like, the fireworks and light shows and balloons and cheerleaders and marching bands and all
And
that
it
kind
never
of stuff.
stops.
It's crazy. There's always something going on. It's literally
Yeah.
like being in a movie, watching it.
But doesn't that make you feel like so special though when you're out there? Like,
Mhm.
you know, what's the difference for you, you know, competing in elite versus competing on the floor in NCAA? Like, what's the crowd difference? Does that help? Does it like,
I think it helps, and especially I mean, you can go to an elite gymnastics meet and it's very individual. So, like, yeah, it's just individual. Like, you don't have a group of people cheering for you necessarily, but when you're at like a Nebraska gymnastics meet, everyone in the crowd is wearing red. They have Nebraska gear, they're holding signs. So, like, the whole crowd almost is like rooting for you, especially at a home
Hmm.
meet. So that's amazing. Just looking around and taking it all in. It's just like, wow, all these people are here to watch us do gymnastics right now. And it's not like, yeah, like they're there to watch Nebraska because that's all they're wearing. So that's one thing. And just like the energy is so much better. The music's better. I mean, does elite gymnastics even have music? Like, not really. Like, it's just
I don't
boring.
know. It's like so
It's like
low in the
depressing.
background that you don't even know
Mhm.
where it's coming from, or it's from like 1937, and like I don't even know.
It's
I
just like quiet and boring.
Yeah, I don't know. I
And
don't.
I'm sure that's why the crowd's bored. Like, they probably are just like, "I'm not gonna cheer because everyone's gonna hear me."
Hmm. And
It's
the meat's so slow, right? And you
Mhm.
don't really understand it, and
That's true. The
people see a
point
score come up and they don't actually know if it's good or not.
That's true. Yeah, I guess it's definitely easier to understand, the NCAA gymnastics side of it.
Well, even just the visuals, right? Like when I that's another part. Like the fact that there's like the live scoreboards everywhere and you're
Mm,
watching scores come up and
mhm,
you can see exactly what team like what both teams have and how they're edging each other up or down or whatever. Like that also from a fan perspective gets you pretty
mhm.
pumped because then
That's
you're
true.
watching it and you're like, you know, like, oh, this person needs a 9-9 if
Mhm,
they're gonna pass this team, right? And then so then I don't know, you get more invested, I think. Which
mhm,
brings it more to the same kind of level of understanding as like a hockey game or whatever, right? Like people watch
mhm.
hockey and they know the person who scores the most is gonna win,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
That's
And they can understand penalties and things like that. But elite gymnastics, you watch and you could watch something that looks freaking perfect, and the
Mhm.
score comes up and the person's like 13th, and you're like, what?
Yeah, that's true. It's a
But
lot harder
NCAA, it's
out of
much easier
10.
to follow and the visuals, the graphics, and yeah, everything the way it's laid out. I don't know, and that gets you invested.
Mhm. Yeah, and then, yeah, basically anyone, like kids, anyone watching it can just, like,
Hmm.
understand right away.
Yeah,
Hmm. I think
yeah,
another thing is just the team, like, competing as part of a team. Like you said, when someone else goes, "Well, I never even thought of this." Like, when you said that, I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, yeah, when you're in elite gymnastics and you see people doing well, it makes you more stressed, but I'm usually at the end of the lineup, and if my teammates are doing well, it gives me energy, it makes me excited, and yeah, it helps my performance when the people in front of me do well, it doesn't, like, have the opposite effect at all, which
yeah.
definitely
It almost
helps.
relaxes you.
Mhm. It's like, "Okay, they got it. If I make a mistake, we already have, like, 5 scores counting. We're good. Just do the best that I can." I mean, it depends on the meet and it depends on how things go in front of me, but, that definitely helps. And, like, the little pep talks and, yeah, all that kinda stuff is just so different. Because even if you are on the same team, like, you can all be on Team Canada and you're not gonna have the same kinda, like, pep talks and stuff. Because technically, like, we're all still against each other, so it's just not as
Yeah,
relaxed, to put it
yeah,
that way.
yeah.
Uh,
Whatever. Go
that's
NCAA.
Yeah, so this was fun, 1 more year of gymnastics, which is so crazy.
Oh,
Um,
that makes me so sad. Can you stop saying that? Like, I will never tire of watching you do gymnastics. Like, I freaking hate that you're done.
I'm excited.
Maybe you can do an elite comeback, and I will make an elite comeback.
Maybe,
I'm just
maybe.
kidding. I could never.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah.
Well, no, definitely not. On that note, though, we're heading into our next break. Um, we'll be back in a couple minutes. You are listening to Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence and Dennis Vachon.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through November 12th is $2 off all crackers, $2 off on grind, $3 off on salami, and buy one, get one free on stew beef. Limit of 2. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Highway 2 in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? by placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Welcome back to Beyond the Routine with Spence. I'm your host, Emma Spence, and my special guest tonight is Dennis Vachon. We were just kind of talking about my elite gymnastics career, NCAA gymnastics career, and the impact that Dennis has had on my life. And speaking of that, I was just thinking, like, whenever I don't talk to you for a while, and then I talk to you again and I hang up and I was like, oh, like, that's why I am the way I am. like, sometimes I just have those moments when I'm just like, that's why I talk like that's why I say things like that, or that's why I don't know, just like
I
laugh
don't know if
and
this
stuff.
is a compliment or not. Like,
I
where are
think
you
so.
going with this?
I mean, it's not even, it's just
that
more
was
of a
really
realization.
convincing.
It's more of a realization, but it's definitely not a bad thing. But like sometimes I hang up from talking to you because, like, I don't know, sometimes we don't talk for like a couple months and then I'm like, oh, like, I have a problem. Can I FaceTime you?
I know, but you know what? I think that's like the sign of Emma. You just summed up all of my best friendships in life. Like, to me, the people who you're closest to, especially as you get older, like once you're in the working world and you're in a relationship, all these things, like you just don't have time to see your friends as much. And
Mhm.
sometimes you only get to talk to them every 6 weeks, whatever, or that's when you only get to see them. And the people that you're really connected with are the people that you can talk to after not talking to them forever, pick up right where you left off,
Hmm.
have this weird ability to have a conversation that can be super, super deep, but then also laugh at some like weird, shallow things that are just, that are only funny because it's you two,
Yeah.
right? And that's you and I. Like there's certain like what we laugh at, I don't actually think it's funny. Like nobody else would find that funny
No, but it's
because it's not.
yeah, no. Just based on other things that have happened
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it's just like,
exactly.
at
Right.
least it's not that. So
Right. So for me, that's like the ideal relationship. And I agree. When I do get a message from you that says, "Do you have or time for a FaceTime?" I'm always like, "Dear God, what now?
yeah.
Like, what am I getting this time? How funny is this gonna be?"
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes I actually have an issue, sometimes it's not really
Oh,
an issue, it's just an issue in my head.
it's
It
never bad. It's never been bad. Nah,
no,
you're over dramatizing. It's you, please, girl.
I do
You're
that a
a
lot.
rock star. You're a rock star. Oh my God. Okay, I have some questions.
Oh, okay.
Favorite concert?
Favorite concert? Okay, well, I like country music, and I don't think you really like that much,
I,
but
I know some
probably
country.
oh, man. I've been to so many, especially living here. I went to one in Montreal this summer. It was called Lasso, and it was like a music festival. That one was
Mm.
really good because there were just so many different singers. But I would say Zach Bryan, but there's a lot of controversy going on with that right now, so I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
Zach
but it
Bryan.
it doesn't mean that it wasn't. It can still be your favorite concert, even if there's that. But that's different, right? Like his controversy is not his music.
No.
Separate the music from the outside personality. Zach
Yeah.
Bryan was your favorite concert.
One of them. I've been to so many. Luke Bryan was a good one. Jordan Davis
Oh
is
yeah,
probably one of
he's
my favorites as
good.
well. Yes.
See, I actually listened to Luke Bryan, so I know my
There you
country.
go. I've been
Also,
to
Beyonce released a country album, so basically now I'm
oh,
like a
that's
country fan, like a mega fan at this
what
point.
what's your favorite concert? I have an idea, but I wanna see what you're gonna say.
Yeah, no, it was the Eras tour. Let's
I
be
would yeah.
real. It was 3.5 hours of like crying, laughing. I didn't even go pee, and like I have to pee all the time. And I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm leaving the floor because if I miss something, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that and this is gonna be really random, but I actually saw Kelly Clarkson
Oh.
back in like 2004 when you were one.
Yeah.
And it was a year she had just won American Idol and she had just done her breakaway album. And I saw her in a small venue downtown Toronto, and it was so simple. Like
Mhm.
she had a carpet on the ground, like a throw rug, some big plush throw pillows. The band was behind her, and she had a microphone. And so sometimes she just sat on a pillow and she just sang, and
That would
other
be
times she
good.
would stand to sing. And it was, like the concert was really about her voice.
Mhm.
There was no gimmicks, it was just her voice, and it felt very intimate. And so,
That would
20
be good.
years later, I still like that. To me is still like a top 3.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, she can sing.
Yeah.
Mhm. What about movies? Anything good lately?
Um, I don't really like movies very much. I'm about to start
Okay.
watching some Christmas ones though, so I'm probably gonna watch Elf again soon.
Oh dear
But
God.
no,
Okay.
no, I
Okay.
know,
No,
I know.
no, I can't even let you elaborate further. Fine, give me a Netflix series.
Um, right now, I'm rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Do you know what that is?
Oh, that's a good one.
It
Yeah,
is a good
that's a
one.
good one.
And I'm also rewatching Seinfeld. So I
I
don't watch anything serious. I can't.
That's
It's
I see that's where we're different. Like I'm listening to you, I'm like, I only watch things that are like overly serious. Okay,
yeah,
okay. What is the weirdest thing you did this week?
this week, I
Like
don't even
strange. Like
remember what
what's
I
the
did.
strangest thing you did?
I can't even think about this week. Oh my gosh, okay. I had a migraine, and I didn't know that, like, sometimes it makes you not see, and I thought I was going blind. Like, I
Okay.
literally, like, thought I was going blind. I was freaking out looking up all this stuff. I was like, "Should I even be driving to class?" Because I just couldn't see out of my eye. But I
Yeah.
did go to class. I couldn't see my laptop, like, we were supposed to be writing a paper, I couldn't do it. Actually, it's due tonight. I have to do that. Um So like that was crazy
That's
because I
on
thought I
brand.
was going blind, but
That's
it
on
went away.
brand.
It went
Yeah.
away.
Someone's
But
knocking at
like,
my door. Oh my
it was
god. Emma, you have to look at your TV. You
okay.
look up. Look at
Well, okay, wait. It's
oh my
delayed, so I can't really see.
did you see my boyfriend just
Oh,
brought me he just brought me a tea, but do you see what's on his head?
that's funny. Wait, that oh you sent me a picture of that.
I
Wait.
know, listen, we're so ridiculous. I think I've met my match for weirdness.
Is that a
Like,
lemon? Like
okay,
a lemon
that's a
hat?
pomelo.
Oh,
That's
okay. Wait,
pomelo
is that
skin.
an actual fruit?
Yes.
Oh, I thought like that was a hat that like
No, no, it's
oh,
like that's
I
like the
see.
skin. And
Okay.
he put that on the other day and
I
I
wonder
was
if
like
that's good for your
crying.
hair.
Uh, well, it was like for like 2 seconds. I forced him. Like I was like, oh my
Okay.
God, you need to put that on your head because that's amazing. Because this is what I do, right? This is like if I'm not laughing, something's horribly wrong in the world. And
Yeah.
so that happened. And then yesterday we were watching an old movie, probably from before you were born. And
Okay.
have you ever heard when people joke about wearing like a tinfoil hat so that the aliens can't hear their thoughts?
Mhm.
Okay, so there was a scene in the movie where people were wearing tinfoil hats, and like 10 minutes later, Hal gets up to go grab us like I thought it was chips or something. So I heard like crunching, and then I look over and he's bringing a tinfoil hat and puts it on my head,
Wow.
and
So
it
creative.
it's the weirdest. And so that's what he just wore into this room. He just put on that tinfoil hat, like anything to break my focus.
Nice.
And I know I've met my
That's
match
that
on
is yeah,
weirdness.
definitely. That's
I
funny. I
know.
wonder if that like the fruit hat's good for his hair. Got some good
I don't
side
know.
effects.
I'll ask him though. But he wore
Yeah.
it for like 10 seconds. I just made him do it so I could take pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, you did send me that picture earlier. That was
And
funny.
then I told him
I
he
did
had
not know
to
that
go
was a
shower before bed because that's
yeah.
not okay.
Yeah, obviously. Dang, that's funny.
So ridiculous.
Huh.
Oh, see,
So
nothing
that's
changes.
yeah, so that's the weirdest thing about your week.
100% the weirdest. I mean, we did go to the zoo today, and I am
Oh, you love the zoo.
I know I'm a psycho when I get there. I like
You
it's
love the
actually so
zoo.
embarrassing, like it's so embarrassing. I start quoting animal facts today. I had a full conversation with a woman who was telling us about the giraffes,
Mhm.
and I was like, yes, I know that when like their tongue is so long that they can clean their own ears, and like when the baby like drops out of the mom gives birth on her feet, and they're up in an hour. Like me and this, oh god, like I think I should get a job at a zoo. Actually,
Honestly, you would do so good at that, and you
I
would
would
love
try to,
it.
I would try to kidnap a hippo.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, we are done with tonight's show. Um, thank you so much for listening, everybody. You were listening to Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence and Dennis Vasho.